Welcome, friends. Thank you for joining us. My name is Joel, and this is the O2 Drop. This is WA's VGC podcast coming from Perth, home of Australia's smallest regional championship. Today, I'm joined by my friends Dan.
What's up?
Mark.
Shout out to Chris's sister Claire.
Every damn time. And today, we have a very special guest with us. Individual who is without an argument West Australia's most successful VGC player, Alister Sandover.
Nice to meet you. Excited to be here.
Away. So before we deep dive your incredible career, Alister, we are going to find out how you got involved in Pokemon.
My humble beginnings,
so
to speak.
The origin story.
Like just Pokemon in general?
Yep. So how did you first get introduced to Pokemon?
Absolutely. Well, I had a Game Boy when I was 5 or 6, playing Pokemon Blue, just like all the other 90s kids.
Yep.
And yeah, I've had every Pokemon game since then. I went through, Silver, Sapphire, Emerald, Diamond and Pearl, and yeah, the rest is history, I suppose.
Everything. Now, you are bilingual.
I am, yes.
So have your games always been in Japanese or?
That's actually, a really good point. My first Japanese game was Sapphire. I remember on my 9th birthday, I got this new Pokemon game. I've been playing. You had the Game Boy Advance, right?
Yep.
But there was no Game Boy Advance Pokemon game yet. Because, the Ruby and Sapphire went out. We were just playing Gold, Silver, Crystal, and I got this Game Boy Advance Pokemon game. I had no idea what it was. I didn't even know Pokemon Sapphire was a thing.
Yeah.
But I put it in and it was like, oh, it's Pokemon. You're in the truck, and it's like, and then I sort of started to learn how to read Japanese a little bit through that. I had no idea what I was doing for a lot of it. But I had fun anyway. Yeah.
Amazing. What was your introduction to competitive Pokemon?
Competitive Pokemon. I started in Diamond and Pearl. I had a friend in high school. He asked me, he's like, oh, do you know what EVs and IVs are? And I was like, no, what's that? I don't need those.
I know what EV is. It's that Pokemon that evolves into a bunch of different Pokemon.
Yeah, it's an EV, yeah. And then he told me about Cerebi.net, and I sort of, went down that rabbit hole. Started to try to EV train my Pokemon, start breed them.
Got in Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah.
The full-time job that was getting a competitive team.
Yeah. And of course, they weren't perfect or anything. I was just happy to have, a 252 Heracross or something like that. And I go onto the Cerebi Wi-Fi chat. Back then, you could use IRC or the web-based chat application.
Yeah.
I was too young to understand how to use IRC. So I used the Cerebi Wi-Fi chat, and people were just asking for games, oh, what's your FC? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll play. And the first, I remember the turning point for me, starting to learn what competitive Pokemon means is when he led Skarmory and clicked Stealth Rock. And I was like, why would you use that move? It's so bad. It doesn't do damage.
I still think that way.
And as a doubles player, you still pretty much think that way. So I really got into singles, actually. It was my first foray into competitive. I got into the Smogon Shoddy Battle at the time. And then I kept playing casually until Black and White came out, and I was very frustrated with how good Excadrill and Swift Swim users were and stuff. And I just gave Pokemon a break for a bit. I didn't even get Black and White 2. I stopped for a bit. I thought, nah, I'm done with Pokemon.
This is what Sandrush Excadrill does to a motherfucker.
This is what permanent weather does.
It sure does. It sure does. And then they announced X and Y. I was like, no, I'm probably not going to get it. But then I ended up like giving in and bought a
Yep.
3DS and got X and Y. Yeah.
Nice. I think X and Y is where a lot of people went deep into actually doing competitive. I think it's my start for where I was like, I'm going to start breeding Pokemon with Dittos and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah. They introduced Destiny Not then.
Yep. So favorite Pokemon?
Favorite Pokemon? Probably, well, it's partly because of competitive as well, but I really like Gardevoir. I think it's just a really pretty design. They made Gardevoir fairy type. I love Mega Gardevoir as well. Yeah, just awesome all around.
Nice. So is Gardevoir your favorite competitive Pokemon?
Yeah, I'd say it's up there. Mega Gardevoir. Like, took it on a long journey in 2018, entering, I don't know, 6+
A fucking
events.
lot based on my research.
Yeah, we had a lot of tournaments together, including Worlds that year. So yeah,
Plus, this design is really cool.
and the design's cool, and Hyper Voice is just yeah.
I think is it Shiny Mega Gardevoir is like one of the toppest tier like
the black
shinies.
dress, the
black
blue
dress,
hair,
yeah.
it's
I
like
love that.
perfect. Yeah.
It's like the goth girlfriend that everyone wants.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Big titty
Pretty
goth Gardevoir.
Okay, so that's your introduction to Pokemon. Now, Alister, you are a 3-time Perth Regional Champion.
Somehow.
You have received a total of 6 Worlds invites, and this year is going to be your 5th attendance.
Yes.
We would love to get your recollection of your career, starting with your first regional championship.
Sure.
The Duxton Basement Regional Champion
Yes.
of 2014. I think the first regional championship for Dan as
Yeah,
well.
that was the first one I attended.
And I think Ethan might have, and definitely some other people on the podcast. Lots of Perthians would have attended that one. So I'd love to get your recollection of that event.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's where it all started, right? That was, well, to my knowledge, the first regional in Australia ever. And yeah, it's just funny because I actually live near Duxton Hotel. So I
Walk past every day.
Time, yeah. So like, I just remember. So I was a singles player. I didn't even know like what VGC was until Nintendo Australia, not TPCR or anything. Back in those days, Nintendo Australia ran the events. Saw a post on Facebook or something. Oh, Pokemon Regional, and I was a Smash Bros or fighting game player at the time. I was like, but I was playing Pokemon competitively as well. A bit of singles still. I was like, me and my friend, we were like, yeah, we'll stomp this. Like, we'll win this. Like, surely no one can be that good.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just like start practicing for the event. We rock up. I remember like nearly submitting a 3-move Rotom. It was like a choice fix Rotom. I couldn't find like, I think the TM for Sleep Talk or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I was like, I don't need it. Like, I only need to click Thunderbolt most of the time. Anyway. It was. I mean, yeah, it was a wild tournament. It's probably understatement of the year with all the things that happened there. I know you guys have touched on it a bit in a previous episode of the podcast, but basically, we all get there. Basement of the Duxton Hotel, and they announced
Premier event location.
I think you guys did mention it was double elimination structure.
Yeah.
And we all know how we feel about that. And what may have been missed was the fact that round 1 was best of 3.
Yes.
Subsequent rounds were best of 1. From what I remember.
I forgot that.
Yeah.
I think in the
yeah.
losers bracket, round 1 in the losers bracket, we still got to play a best of 3.
Yeah. Like the first round and both winners and losers.
Yeah.
I think so. I remember my friend, who I just mentioned before, he was really furious because he lost a really close best of 3
Yeah,
round
Jesus.
1. to like a really like I guess he was pretty known at the time. Gabe mostly plays platoon now. You may
I do remember
he doesn't
Gabe.
really
Yes,
come to events anymore. So shout out to him. He beat my friend in a close best of 3, and I managed to win. And I just kept getting like I don't know lucky or winning somehow. Drawing like players that didn't really know what they were doing.
Yeah.
And the one of the first strange things about the tournament was just because of like the fact that it didn't know what they were doing when it came to organising it.
Has that changed?
It's gotten better for sure.
Until next season.
Until next season.
Like, what basement are we getting next regional?
Yeah. I look forward to that. So I actually got a bye into top 4,
Oh wow.
which is just
That is ridiculous.
Which is ridiculous. You know, that's like a ridiculous.
Is that because they then turned the double into single? Is that
No, I think.
or just the way they had the
no,
players?
they messed up. They didn't do any buys in the first round.
Oh,
or
okay,
something like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
because they didn't know how to run a proper bracket. So I ended up getting a buy into top 4. I was like, great, you know, I've just got a couple more games to win, and I think I ended up playing winners final, and I go up on the stage, and then I open my DS, and it's like, your save data has been corrupted. And my heart just sinks. I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? The first thing that comes to my mind is like, surely I could just use my friend's DS that I came with. He's out of the tournament as well after faking out an inner focus to the Cario. So I asked Jamie, who was the organizer at the time. You guys might remember him. Shout outs to Jamie. I asked him, could I use my friend's DS? And he was like, sure. I was like, great. So I rock
and roll.
I've literally never played this team before, but his team was like 10 times better than my team. It had a Smeagol, it had a Mega Kangaskhan, it had Aegislash. It was just so good.
Yeah.
And I managed to win that game because I had a better team now. And then I think, finals gets played. Well, no, the losers finals gets played, and we go to grand finals, and it's the same matchup again.
Yeah.
Smeagol Kang, and I thought I was going to lose actually because I think I lost Smeagol like turn 1 immediately, but I remember Crunch Kangaskhan came in clutch. So most people ran Sucker Punch at the time.
Yeah.
But my friend happened to have Crunch, and it was good against his Aegislash. So because I could just knock it out without having to play Sucker Punch mind games around
hit it twice
or things like that. Yeah. So I won that, and then the winner got to go to nationals that year. So I was like, great, I'll go to nationals and try to do well there. And that year you had to get, I believe, top 4 to get an invite at Worlds, and I went 6-3 day 1.
So how many people rocked up to nationals in 2014?
Oh my God, I don't know, but it was crazy. Like the nationals was held at the Melbourne Town Hall.
Yeah.
And like the queue went on multiple streets. Like it was so insane.
That's wild.
Especially back in those days, you had to actually like check in like with your DS and things like that. And I don't think they were
That's right. They had like the King DS or whatever, and like Regify.
Locked your team back then.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no like online Arcanine registration we have now. Like
that's wild to know retrospectively, because I was actively doing TCG at the time, and we had no idea about like VGC nationals at all, because like obviously TCG was running like really fluently already in 2014.
Yeah, I think come to think of it, TCG wasn't there at all, and we took VGC took up the whole channel, and this was back in the days
I think
of free entry.
we played at a hotel in 2014.
Yep, that makes sense.
Duxton Basement version.
Yeah. So nationals was good experience. I was like really close, but so far. I used some Mega Morwell, Gothitelle, Japanese Trick Room team. I always just stole Japanese teams. And just used those because they knew what they're doing and they worked. So, yeah.
Nice.
For like record keeping purposes, did they record your friend's team as being the winning team or your original team?
Ooh.
Funnily enough, they put both of them there on
Really?
on Pokemon Australia.
That's so funny.
It's just this will never happen again.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's incredible that you got the win.
Yeah.
The circumstances are absolutely wild and would never ever happen again. Now that it's run by people that know how to run events.
Yeah, to this day, I'm pretty sure it's the most fraudulent regional in history.
That's our new intro. Home of the most fraudulent regional.
So no way.
Gonna lock it in.
Way that's ever gonna happen. Like the buy into top 4, getting like my friend's team, and just everything just went my way somehow.
I think it is a hilarious note at how incompetent Nintendo was at running that event.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows Jamie, and we all fucking love Jamie because I think he was just put in the most hard to deal with situations, but holy shit.
Yeah.
It's wild. So your second regionals win was in 2016. I think, was that still Nintendo event?
The last one, yes.
Last one, yeah.
Yeah.
No Game Brick in that year?
No. So
was it still XY or had we moved on?
It was the
ORAS?
last year of ORAS.
Yeah.
It was the restricted format of ORAS. I remember, so 2015 I didn't do very well because I didn't use legendaries. I thought I'll be that guy. It's like, oh, I don't need legendaries. Like, I can do without them. I was feeling myself a little bit too much from 14 when I had no idea, how, it was very Dunning-Kruger effect. I thought I was way better than I actually was. I think I remember losing to Ethan, actually, in that tournament. It's probably so easy for him he doesn't remember. I remember, he just like heat waves like my Morwell and Trevin or something and just swept me. So 15 was a wash, and then we come to 16. I remember that year I like really got into VGC like a lot more so than before because I was in China in January. And in China, you can't use the internet very much, but you could use Pokemon Showdown. So I would play VGC 2016, pretty much whenever I had free time when I was over there, trying to figure out, how to beat Big Six, or just using that myself. And I just grinded a lot of games, and I was thinking I'm not gonna make the same mistake as 15. I'm gonna use whatever's the most broken, busted Pokemon I can find. So I ended up using a Japanese team with Smeagol, Groudon, Mega Rayquaza, and that was I was just training a lot for that year. Like I didn't even go to locals, and we had locals at the time. I didn't even know what a PC or anything was. Alex Poole was.
Yeah, I was going to say it was all like Alex Poole, Aaron, Lionel, Robeson. Like just constantly.
At all the locals, and that's when locals gave so much CP from what I remember. I didn't even know what CP was. I just all I wanted to do was win a regional. Yeah. Because that's all I knew. And the regional starts, and I did really well. I remember it was best of 1 Swiss, 7 rounds on the round tables.
The round tables.
How did the round tables work? Did you sit across from your opponent?
I didn't take part.
You're pretty much next to
them. Yeah, you were next to them. It was awful.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So you basically twisting your body to face them, in a somewhat proper manner. And Daniel and I played that
Twice.
day. So we played in Swiss. I won a Crobat speed tie. And that basically wins the game in that format, which is really annoying. And then I won all my Swiss games.
Nice.
Things just went my way, I guess, like the speed tie and the fact that I've faced a lot of Big Six as well, and I was very prepared for it. Really helps, And we get into Top Cut, and I can't remember. Oh, I faced Alex Poole in Top 8, actually. Yeah. In the secret... Do you remember the
secret room? The winner's side area.
The winner's room, Town Hall? In Town Hall, faced Alex Poole there. I managed to beat him. And then I faced Dan Baguli on the stage. Managed to win that one. And
Yes, he did.
And yeah, shout outs to Helping Hand Sylveon. Sylveon was the cool Pokemon of the team.
Yeah.
Not many people were using it, but it was actually quite good, I found. And finals I played San Pandelis. Funnily enough, shouldn't have even been there to begin with, as some people might know. We've just the way the CP races go, and there was some gaming going on there, to say the least. And of course, like me, I didn't care what that was all about.
Yeah.
I just wanted to win the tournament. I don't know what CP is. I don't care about your invite or anything like that. I want to win the tournament. So we play finals, and it goes 1-1. And game 3, he should have beat me. But I get an Earth Power special defense drop on his Xerneas.
Nice.
And my Groudon was timid Groudon, so it was actually faster than his.
Yeah.
So I was actually able to get a 2-hit KO on his Xerneas, and then he had Groudon in the back. And I win the speed tie and hit and Oko his Groudon with Earth Power. So shout out special Groudon that time. And he had Thunderous left, and its only attacking move was Thunderbolt.
Oh no!
So I could just
nothing.
I was on
against a Groudon.
45 HP, and it just
Nothing you could do.
1v3'd, and then I was the regional champion again. I was so happy. I got to go to nationals again. Yeah.
So that 2016 wasn't a automatic path to Worlds?
I think CP wise, it just gave me an invite just by winning the regional.
For Worlds or Nationals, sorry?
Both.
Both. Okay, so you got an invite for the Worlds and then you...
Nationals, you didn't
trip to
need
Nationals.
I got the trip, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, top 2 was the travel award, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Don't know why I remember that at all.
It's not like you would have been annoyed you missed out.
But the prizing for top 4 of like an action figure and a DVD was so much worth it.
What DVD?
It was some shitty like movie at the time.
Yeah.
Was it a Pokemon movie?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. But I think it was like some Lucario.
I was
adventure or
about to say, but it was
something.
Lucario. That feels 2016-ish.
Yep.
Rough. Do you still have it?
Of course not.
Who has DVDs, mate?
I have some.
I don't even have a thing that plays DVDs in my house anymore.
What are you guys all going to do when the communists steal our internet?
Showdown.
I just like anime and I love Pokemon and I like being here.
So what do you remember from 2016 Nationals?
Nationals, I remember being so annoyed at myself losing the first round.
Yeah.
And the problem with that event was it was top 16 cut. So I actually went 7-2 in Swiss, but I missed top cut
Resistance.
based on resistance and
Abolish resistance.
I mean, they kind of have.
They kind of have, yeah.
I mean, this is you guys have already talked about. I've had my fair share of beats on resistance. I've also gone in because of resistance. It does somewhat balance out eventually.
Yeah.
But I remember we call that event the Throw Olympics because
Holy shit.
the way the circuit was structured, and again, I was oblivious to all this. I just wanted to win tournaments. I didn't know what CP was, but I think APAC was a thing, right? And they had multiple nationals, and nationals are very rewarding, I guess. So basically, the Throw Olympics was a ploy to get our best Australian players to the top of the CP leaderboards in APAC.
Yeah.
So people were throwing games left, right, centre.
Yeah.
To basically, get
Try and make sure we had some representation.
Alex, and Nihal and whoever else possible into day 2 Worlds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't make top cut, and that was it for 2016. Didn't go to Worlds.
That's nice. Well, not nice, but getting an invite from a regional win is a really good thing to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then we crack into 2017. Now, my research says that in 2017 you got a top 16 in Brisbane and a top 32 at the first OCIC.
Yeah. So actually the Brisbane one was the 2018 season, but it was still the 2017 format. So it was post Worlds.
Yep.
2017.
Okay, so that would have contributed to your 2018 invite.
Yeah, to my 2018 invite. OCIC was insane. Yeah, I never thought I would play anyone that's not Australian, for instance. Like, if you told me...
It's a foreign concept.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you told me, even when I was playing other games or in 2014, 15, 16, that I'd face, you know, like Wolf Glick, Alex Gomez, or any of the other, like, household names from overseas, I wouldn't have believed you. And then, lo and behold, like, round 3, I'm up against Alex Gomez.
Yeah, wow.
The next round, I played Sebastian Escalante. Some people, he kind of took a bit of a break. So a lot of people might not know of him now, but he was a force to be reckoned with. He was dominating tournaments, and he was like still in high school.
Wow.
He went like 8-1 or something in that tournament. I remember I lost to him. I lost to Wolf Glick as well.
Yeah.
Alex Poole lost to Wolf Glick also.
I mean, just getting to play, because he would have been fresh off his World Championship win that year.
Yes, that's right. Yes, exactly.
So the biggest name on the circuit at the time.
But like, for me, it was like, I didn't care who they were. They're just another person that I'm going to try to beat. Doesn't matter if you're Wolf. Doesn't matter if you're Timmy. Like, I'm gonna try to figure out what you're gonna do and what I'm gonna do to stop that. And that tournament was so huge for me because that time I did get it on resistance, and because that year we didn't have enough people for all X2 day 2.
Yeah,
it was top 32 and
some 6-3s.
And because I had Wolf, Alex, Sebas, and some other like 7-2s
your resistance is
And I remember like looking at it and everyone telling me like I made it, and I just started crying. I was like so happy. I don't think I've been that happy in VGC, even like with like wins or anything else. Like that was the happiest thing. Just because after traveling all that way to Melbourne in 14, 16, not making it, and then finally getting in, it was just it was just
made everything
maybe
worth it.
if I didn't make it again, maybe I would have quit. Who knows? Like it's hard to say. So yeah, very grateful.
So your 2018 season was quite impressive based on the research that I was able to do. So top 16 Brisbane, top 32 OCIC, top 4 at the Auckland special event, second at the Singapore Open #1, top 4 Malaysia Open #1, second Malaysian Open #2, top 16 Perth, top 4 Singapore Open #2, top 16 NAIC, and then a top 35 at Worlds. Huge season.
Yeah, it was a massive season. It's kind of funny how they came to be, I guess. Well, I learned what CP was. Starters.
You're like, that's the pathway.
Yeah.
How did they fit all these accolades on the screen for you now?
And I remember, so Brisbane, which was still 2017, was the first event of that season. I remember I think I just had a breakup. I had a bunch of money. I was like, I'm going to prove that I can get day 2 if I want it. Just based on like my skill, and if I actually travel with no locals, by the way. This is when we didn't have locals. After 2017, I think it was the last one. So I was like, I'm going to go Brisbane. And then I wanted to just have like a holiday. So I was like, I'll go to Singapore and just try out what I'm going to do there. And then go to Japan for a bit, and then go to OCIC, like all in one trip. And after Singapore and OCIC, I was like, hey, I'm like actually doing all right. I've got quite a bit of CP. Maybe I can get day 2. Just give it a crack. And I was in uni at the time, so I had to I was just scouting which events I could go to that lined up with my schedule, basically. And that's why I ended up going to Auckland and Hobart, these random special events, just to get CP. And I ended up sneaking in to get the travel award for NAIC.
Nice.
I'd never won money or anything for like playing games after all this time. And then finally I was like, wow, like a paid trip to North America. I never would have thought of going all the way there, let alone to play children's video game. And now that's like the only reason I travel.
Look, it's a children's video game on the surface.
Yeah, exactly.
Show me the 8-year-old that knows how to IV properly. IV and EV.
That's right. I went to Malaysia with my great friend Aika. Shout outs to him. I managed to get second at that Malaysia regional in, I think it was April or something like that. And then I got travel award to NA, and I ended up going to NA. I think I actually didn't even end up needing to do well there to secure day 2, as it's the last event of the season. But I did anyway. Maybe the lower pressure helped out or something.
You're like, I don't actually need this. I'm just rocking and rolling.
Here for the holiday.
Actually, funny story I haven't told. Like a lot of people.
And now you're about to tell roughly 60 people.
Yeah. So I've never been more humbled than this experience at NAIC. Round 1, I come up against Mono Steel, and I lost. So I started 0-1 and then went 7-2. Well, I think I was 0-1, 2-2, and then went to 7-2 and just won out.
And then you
somehow.
took it personally.
But I remember just thinking like, I could get like really sad about this, but I was like, no, it's fine. Like, it's all right. And just play the next one, just see what happens. And that's always stuck with me, like, doesn't matter if you lose early or, things go wrong, you're still in it. Just keep trying. Just focus on it one game at a time. Just see what happens. Yeah.
Was 2018 the chalk year? Or is
that's 15.
That's 15?
But
okay, that's way
chalk
off.
was kind of a thing in 18 as well. Yeah, Kangaskhan was actually pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2018, you get your first day 2 Worlds and your first time attending Worlds.
This time, yeah.
What do you remember from that event?
Yeah, I remember facing. Well, I remember being super nervous because it was my first Worlds, and I could barely sleep. I was so excited. Like, I thought maybe we could see what happens. And I faced Javier Volds from Chile round 1, and then immediately I was like this counter team. I don't think I can win this. He had he had Venu, Cha Wai, and Rhydon, and I'm playing Tapu Koko with Rain. So it was very difficult to beat him. So he just beat me after I beat him in NAIC, actually. So that was a tough loss. Round 2, I played Alberto Lara, I think it was. Yeah, and he had some Mega Gengar. It was a really weird team. He was like doing really well that year, and then this tournament, his team seemed really off, but he still beat me anyway. I think he got me with Piapa Berry Amoongus, and I was using Gardevoir. So
Jeez.
Damn.
That's CTS for you.
CTS jank.
So remind me, what does Piapa Berry do?
It halves the super effective damage of psychic moves.
Oh my god! Yeah. So no wonder I haven't heard of it.
Yeah. So I tried to psychic or Psyshock his Gus, and then I got put to bed, and I didn't have Tapu Koko, so that was that. And then round 3, funnily enough, I prepared so much for this player. His name's Hirofumi Kimura, the winner of Japan Nationals that year in 2019, and he brought his nationals team, which was Instant, Feeney, Kart, Mega Mints. He had Nita Queen in nationals, but he changed it to Nita King in Worlds.
Yeah.
He had some other changes too. He had like Brian, Tapu Fini and stuff like this, which is pretty cool. But anyway, I remember like preparing so much, like flowcharting this matchup so much, and it just came down to whether he led Nita King or not, and whether I led Coco or not, and he got it right. I stole a game with Hidden Power Fire on his AV cart, or Z cart, sorry, game 1, like I planned, because not many people used Hidden Power Fire back then, and my team really invited Cortana. I didn't have an Incineroar, so I wasn't much of a balanced player yet. That'll come later. And then game 2 and 3, he got me with Nita King, and then I was out of Worlds. But I was like, this is Worlds day 2. Maybe I won't ever play it again. Let's just play it out. And I ended up winning the next 4 rounds.
Nice, yeah.
But like, it doesn't hit the same, once you're quote unquote out of the tournament.
So that was a 4-3.
Ended up being 4-3, 35th place or something like that. But still, I was happy to like get a decent ranking by the end of it for my first Worlds.
As I say, first Worlds, finish positive on the scorecard.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just hungry for more after that, I guess.
So I think my research hit a wall because I know you got invited to 2019 Worlds, but the only result I could find was top 4 Perth. What else did your 2019 look like?
Sure. So there was some factors in 2019 why I didn't play as much as 2018. I was going to try hard again. So that's why I went to Singapore and Malaysia in like 2 weekends with Sam Pandelis. We did really well that back-to-back. I got 2nd and 4th in Singapore, Malaysia respectively, and he got like top 8 first.
Nice.
And that was in Sun Series. So no items, no Zs, no Megas, pure Pokemon. Most skill-based format, by the way. just going to throw that out there. I really like it. Before that, I think before that I went to LAIC and I bombed. Like I did really bad. Probably one of my worst performances. The only CP I got was at the final PC against at the final PC on Sunday. So they had MSS Saturday, PC Sunday, and I actually got top 8 in the PC. I was like, yes. I went to Brazil and got CP. Yeah. And it's funny because I ended up helping my friend Gabriel Gardi because I beat Soccer King in top 8 and knocked him out of the Travel Award race. Nice. I don't know how. Like I was using some bad team. Anyway, so then I went to Singapore, Malaysia after that, and then they announced more special events for Asia. So they would have like 4 or 5 events for that quarter to get a travel award. I was like, I can't keep up. If I don't do well at OCIC, I'm just going to give it up. And it's like my final year of Masters anyway. So I went to OCIC and I bubbled. Yeah, I got like 34th or something. And I was like, yeah, I've got my invite. There's no point going for day 2 now, and I'm running lower on money because I spent it all on 2018 mostly, and I didn't get the travel award. So I was like, I'll just focus on uni for a bit. I'm still playing a lot of games, but I'll just save that money and just go to Worlds day 1 and just see what it's like.
Just rock and roll from the get-go of Worlds.
Yeah, exactly.
How was Raw Dogging Worlds in 2019?
Oh, man. It's interesting because it was Ultra Series by then. So we played Moon Series in Perth, and I was really happy with that result because the team selection was just spot on. So I was happy about that. After Perth, there was Ultra Series, and it was just really hard. I couldn't get my foot in the door with that format. Tried a lot of things, but then we ended up settling on couple archetypes, both with Mega Ray Quasar, which is my 16 champion buddy. So I really liked it, and we start day 1 Worlds. I was super prepared. I'd put in so many games. I think I had like 5 alts at least in like top 10 showdown ladder. So I was like, I'm ready. Like, I can't do more than this. Round 1 goes really well. I make great play. Like I remember getting up Trick Room and then I switched my stack attacker to Bravery, expecting his instant switch, and it worked. I get the Defiant boost and swept him. Then round 2, I play Alex Underhill, and I remember seeing Snorlax. I was like, oh, I've seen it on ladder, but it's really hard. But I can still try to win. And I remember just Nature's Madnessing his Snorlax down over and over again. This is back when Gluttony. The berries gave you 50% recovery. Yeah. So Snorlax could recover to full health and and still live more attacks after that. And I remember I actually clutched game 1. I was like really happy with that. And then game 2, I felt like I was going to lose. So I thought, you know what? I actually don't like my chances in matchup. I'm going to take it to time because it ended up being my Lunala versus his Snorlax, and his Snorlax only had a normal type move. Yeah. So I took it to time and lost game 2. And so we played sudden death game 3, and I made the winning play, but he crit extreme speed on my top of Coco. Turn 3, sudden death.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, I think that's one of the most heartbreaking instances of RNG. Because it was like Worlds as well and sudden death. So I was like, man, that really sucks. I was so close and it could have been 2-0, but I just got – and because it went to time, I had to start the next game and I faced like some Lunala Megalopony Kyogre team and I was like one prediction away from winning this one. That was a fair set. Didn't have any like bad luck. And I was feeling really down. Like people always go around asking, "Oh, how you doing?" and stuff like that. I remember trying to avoid everyone.
Don't talk to me.
And I tend to do that now, even if I am winning. That's why you probably don't see me around, in between rounds. Just stay calm. It'll be all right. So I was like 1-2. I was like, I wasn't feeling great, but I was like, I'll just keep going. And then I went on a tear. Like I just kept facing matchups I was ready for. I think I faced Zerndon, Zernoga. And then before I knew it, I was at 6-2. I even misclicked one round. I thought my tournament was over and it ended up working out somehow. I remember my friends, Ismat, watching. He was like, oh my God. Like his face was like in disbelief by the play I did because I timed out. But it ended up being okay. I think that was round 6 or something. And then I was 6-2, and then up against Rinya, who a lot of people didn't know.
We recognise that name now.
A lot of people didn't know who Rinya was in 2019. He was always good. In fact, I actually took a lot of inspiration from his teams in Sun Series using Yveldon. And I remember getting him with sub-stack game 1, and then game 2 I thought about going for a risky play, and then I decided not to do it. I think he led Coco Lunala against Insin Lunala, and I thought about just fake out Z his Coco because it was specs.
Yeah,
he protects Lunala and Volt Switches. I didn't do that play. I think I did something else. So I was like, damn, I could have just made Day 2 Worlds off turn 1, and then I think he ends up winning that game. And then it's just been such a long day. It was 9 rounds. And Luna Ray is a very cycle-heavy team. There's a lot of switching. The games are very drawn out, especially like against Underhill. And I remember, I think I just forgot I had Instant in the back game 3, and I didn't end up making like the best plays, and he ended up edging me out. And I was just like, man, I actually could have made it. But I didn't. I wasn't good enough that year. But it was a good experience.
For sure. So then we come into 2020. We had, I believe, one of the only regionals of 2020.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, 2020 was the start of a rivalry that didn't get finished for 3 years. Is that accurate?
I don't know if I'd call it a rivalry personally.
Look, I think Alister said in the chat that he remembers both the 2020 and the 2023 match crystal clear.
Definitely some key points in the match. Yeah. 2020, I was like feeling really good. Again, I was happy with my preparation, things like that. And then, me and Mark faced round 2, and I lost. I was like, man.
Mark, brand new at that time, I believe.
Yeah.
2 in-person tournaments, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, never feels good to lose early. I think I had maybe I wasn't very mentally composed. I took losses a lot worse back then. We get to the final round of Swiss, and then I lose to a missed move there, and then I bubbled out of cut that year.
You came in 9th, right?
I came in 9th, yeah. So that was very, very heartbreaking tournament for me, and I've never forgotten it since.
For context, he just
and
glares at Mark.
glaring at Mark.
And Mark unknowingly contributed to it.
He got his revenge. Don't worry.
I believe in, what was it, episode 1, you said that it was probably 5 turns across 2 games.
If that, yeah.
Do you remember your OCIC rematch 3 years later against Mark?
I remember parts of it. I
can't remember what you led. It was Dragonite was one of them. It was the Terra Flying Dragonite with Terra Blast.
Yeah. I think I remember killing your Iron Hands with Flutter Mane at one point, like Specs
Probably
Flutter
at
Mane.
some point.
And
Yeah,
then,
that would have been game 2. Game 1, I went for a super greedy play. I went for Trick Room plus Focus Energy. Yeah, because I was running crit Iron Hands because Dondozo was prevalent.
Yeah.
Because it was Iron Hands with a Scope Lens, Focus Energy, and I just went for a super greedy play. So I was like, he's going to respect the fake out. And then looking back, now that I'm a better player, there was no reason to, like, even if I did fake out there, so what? Like, but at the time I was just like, I was fresh off like 1400 showdown. It's just like everyone always clicks protect because they're worried about getting faked out, and I could just click Focus Energy and Trick Room. But turns out when you're up against someone who knows what they're doing.
I think the other moment I remember is when I spored the Brute Bonnet after it terrored.
Yes. Oh fuck! I forgot about that.
And I could tell you'd forgotten about it. And I even second guessed myself because I hadn't played on cart that much. So I was like, this does put it to sleep, right? I knew it should, but it was like first round as well, so I was quite nervous. But yeah, definitely grateful to have gotten that win at least.
You made day 2 of that tournament, didn't you?
I did, thankfully. That was a really close one as well.
So your third and most recent regionals win in Perth, 2022, was the first regionals since the pandemic kicked off, and it was the end of Sword and Shield. Effectively, we were starting to say goodbye to Sword and Shield. We had a fairly short tournament that year. I think it was 6 rounds and then top cut.
Yes. Yeah, there was like barely anyone there.
Yeah, I think 73 from memory.
I got COVID from that event.
You didn't keep your mask on?
I did.
Someone else didn't, clearly. But yeah, 73 people. Everyone else was out voting.
Yeah, I mean, we played. It was so bad. We played with seniors. My round 6 was against Nick Khan. He was a senior, and he beat me.
Wild.
I forgot about that.
And he brought my resistance right up again. I got the good side of resistance this time. Because he was a 6-0, but he was a senior, so he wasn't eligible for our Masters top cut.
Because there must have only been 7 seniors or something that year.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, exactly.
Wild. So what was your run in 2022?
2022, I just remember thinking, well, I was still harboring what happened in 2020. Yeah. Just overall. And it's like, the other thing was I actually needed first place to get a Worlds invite. I actually happened to have, I think, 100 CP from 2020 because I got top 16 and then I won the PC the next day. Yeah. And that was the only CP I got, the only events I went to. And I didn't think I was going to go to Melbourne Regional because I just started a new job and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, I need to win this. And I just prepared as much as I could. And I got to 4-0. Actually, Kieran and I played for the first time.
Oh, really?
That event. Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
And then I lost round 5. And round 6, I lost to Nick Khan. But I was like, I should still get in because I've got a 6-0, and I made it. And then top cut, I got lucky. I think he had a team sheet error, so I got a game 1.
Oh, no.
He had a game 1 loss. He had the wrong speed on his Incineroar or something. I was going to say,
it wasn't Phil, was it?
Singaporean. From Singapore, but lives in Australia.
Yeah, okay.
I believe. And I remember I even crit his Zapdos with like a -2 Wormwind.
Salt in the wound, say.
So, like, I practiced this matchup all night with Zine the night before.
He practiced getting the crit.
And yeah,
How
like,
to roll the
I
right seed to get the crit on the right turn.
it actually wasn't winnable. Like, if he made the right plays, it was really, really hard for me to win unless I got that crit. So very, very grateful for that. And then I managed to win. I can't remember who I played top 4. Oh, I played Ico, of course. Yeah, we brought the same team to the event. He came over from Germany and stayed with me, and we both brought Palkization, and well, I built the team, so so I have a bit of an edge there. And then I beat Sam Pandelis in the finals again.
Nice.
And yeah, I was like, wow, I got a Worlds invite. I'm gonna go to London, where I went 0-3 at that Worlds. Yeah,
Rough Worlds.
that was really hard.
Did you have day 2 in that one, or
Another day 1. Like, I'd pretty much given up on day 2s after.
Because I think I actually could have gone for London that year if I tried, because the PC from 2020 carried over to 2022, correct? And the cap was lower, so you only needed 200 total
points.
So all I needed to do was like travel to Melbourne, actually rock up to Perth, and get a total of 100 CP across both, and I would have qualified.
It's doable.
But at the time, I was just like a fucking idiot and didn't think of it.
Amazing. And now you have invite for this year. I think a few months ago on Twitter, when you had locked it in, I think you said something along the lines of, I don't understand Reg F.
Yeah.
This has been the hardest format.
It's been hard. Like, no matter what I use, I just couldn't win consistently.
I think everyone said that. It was just, there's always
I mean, we
else
loved
that-
Reg F. Some of us did. Some of us did.
Yeah, because it meant we weren't losing consistently.
No, it's a fun format. I just didn't understand it as much as I thought I understood.
It's hard to get a
previous
lock on
formats.
it, yeah.
Yeah, it
moved
was very
very
volatile. There's a lot could happen.
Yeah, it kept changing.
Yeah.
It didn't stay consistent at all.
I'm not sure if that's because of Terra or the Pokemon that were available, what it was, but yeah, it's quite difficult.
Yeah.
And then everybody in Perth is using Torkoal.
And
So you're like,
everyone's Torkoal.
how the fuck do I practice against this shit?
Yeah, this is why I don't rock up to locals.
Well, it's actually funny because it ended up being good practice because in EUIC, which I went to on a whim this year, I ended up playing 3 Gallade, Torkoal, and DD Ursula in day 1.
Yeah. And you're like,
I was
thank
like-
you, Perth.
I've seen this so much. Like, no
Prepared for
problem.
this one.
It's a hard matchup, but I know what to do, and
Yeah.
it actually really carried through. Yeah.
Nice.
So you're about to hit the kitchen for 2024.
Yes.
We are 6 weeks out at time of recording. What's your next 6 weeks look like in
Yeah.
preparation for 2024 Worlds?
Next 6 weeks. Well,
Practicing those crits.
yeah, I got to learn from 22. Pretty much whenever I've got some free time, load up some games, think about what to use, talk with my friends that I talk to about the game, and hopefully we come up with something in time.
Any particular restricted that you're leaning towards, or group of restricteds that you think are better suited to your gameplay than others?
Sure. I think the best restrictors are, well, it's no secret either. Both Calyrexes, Terrapagos, Miraidon, I'd say is up there. Zamazenta is quite good as well. Koraidon is good, but it does get invalidated by Pelipper, so I feel like there will be Koraidon players, but I don't know. I don't think I could bring myself to use that.
Yeah.
It feels like you need to really dedicate to being in Sun, bringing additional Sunsetters, whether that's Tornadus or some other drought user.
Whimsicott, which has shot up in usage.
Yeah, Whimsicott has
Like,
shot
I
up.
don't know how many of them are actively being sunsetters, but
There's just a lot of Whims on
there's a lot of
ladder.
Whimsicott, yeah.
Nice. I was going to say, getting walled by a duck or a pelican against a restricted
It's just
it
fun.
hurts.
Yeah. what is it, like 480 BST as
Yeah,
well?
yeah.
So that just quickly reminds me of the multi-battles. It just completely off topic, but the multi-battles yesterday where we lost against you because my Caridon and Ethan's Terrapagos were both on the field. I had figured out that I was able to pick up your Zamazenta with the next collision course, but he terrored his Terrapagos, turning off the sun, which meant I didn't have Oracle Compulse. Your Zamazenta lived on what, 4 HP?
No, I'm pretty sure that, the Pelipper was on 4. Or
It was the Zamazenta was
Yeah,
one that got
Warren's
targeted.
4, yeah.
4 HP, yeah. And because the sun got turned off by the Terrapagos. So that was infuriating.
I also raw dogged a Hurricane in Sun.
Yeah, that too. Although, to be fair, you missed the one the turn before.
Yeah,
so
I did.
statistically speaking, you're going to land one of the two.
Eventually.
So planning on stealing some Japanese teams as usual?
Oh, they're quite secret about it. So it's
I
hard.
have noticed it's harder
in the
to
lead
see
up to
stuff
Worlds.
recently.
The best thing you can do is enter their what they used to call best of 3 cups. They're called something different now, Bosan Night or something like that. It's basically they just run like small, like 4 or 5 round Swiss tournaments, best of 3, and you can see what people are using there.
Yeah.
I know Zine entered a lot of those last year, and he ended up winning Worlds. So
Nice.
those, definitely good to check out.
It's the play.
It's probably the play. Yeah.
Do you practice on kart or showdown?
90% showdown. Yeah. The only reason for that is because it's so hard to get a team in game on kart.
Yeah.
I don't want to get the team until like I'm sure about it, but I'm never sure about it. So I never get to that stage where I'm like happy.
That's
with
very
it.
fair,
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So you would be well aware of the changes for 2025.
More or less.
More or less. So you've played for 10 years.
Yes.
What is your hot take on the changes that we are seeing for the 2025 season? We've expressed some takes in our previous episode,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
speaking to someone who has an invite and is most likely going to be going for one next year,
Someone who might actually be impacted by these changes.
rather than us shitters.
I was like, oh, now I'm not going to get an invite. Like I totally was going to do this year.
Well, yeah, that's for starters. I'm actually a little bit worried that I won't get an invite because of how it's structured. The fact that it rewards internationals so heavily
Yeah.
makes it difficult to compete with anyone that does choose to go to those events. And just given my work schedule and stuff next year, maybe I won't go
Yep.
to any internets. So it'll come down to the lower tier events. But yeah, if we've got 10 people that really want to go to internets,
Yeah, they're probably going to end up with the
they
top
could
10
get there.
slots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have hypothesized it's going to be around about 750
Yeah.
points for top 20.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Based on the uptick, probably everyone's going to max out on locals.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Given the increased CP and what we've seen from this season so far, yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good estimate.
Yeah. So with that in mind, and that you're probably not going to do internets just because adulting sucks.
Yeah. Yep.
How hard do you think you're going to push next year? You're going to attend every regional that we have locally?
Yeah, I'll attend every regional.
Max out those BFLs locally, ASAP.
Yeah, I'll definitely go harder on the locals as well if possible.
That's terrible to hear from our.
Just go to I can't make weekday locals, so those will.
All right, good.
Those,
All right.
If you want
Okay, so
Rockingham
everyone
next Monday, I'll
stack.
be there.
We're all going to stack Rockingham and Morley.
Yeah, leave the weekends for me. I need those points. But there should be a good number of opportunities anyway. So it's just a matter of keeping at it. And then the GCs as well, I'll have to go a little bit harder on.
Yeah.
They're worth quite a lot, especially the like top 32, top 64. That's significant.
Yeah, they've had massive upticks. Like even the points offered in the like top 256 is 150% up on this year. Like they're definitely targeting.
When you say 150% up, do you mean double and a half of what it was?
Yes.
Or- okay.
Yeah. So they were 20 points for top 256 and it's up to 50 points now
Damn.
for the GCs. So yeah, there's a lot of movement for points.
Yeah, everyone's going to be Heck, out for blood in these online comps.
I don't know about you. I personally feel like the only way I'm getting a Worlds invite is if I win a regional.
Win a regional.
I think that'll be the sentiment for a lot of people. And as we've touched on previously, there has been some talk that the North Americans are going to come to Australia and try and steal our +3/+4 invites. So
good luck.
yeah.
No, they're all shit. We can take that.
I was going to say, we know what happens to you guys when you travel here.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've had some very serious discussion on your history and what's happening. I'd like to turn the dial down to a little bit more casual.
Sure.
Alister, we're going to ask you to take part in the rebuild of our type chart.
All right.
So we have previously done normal with Drax and
right.
psychic with Jared.
Okay.
So these are types as a defense.
As a defense, okay.
So what
Damage taken.
Damage taken.
Damage taken.
What defensive type would you like to work on?
Maybe water.
Oh, fucking look where my box is.
Was it meant to be?
You were both just looking at the bottle of water on the table.
I don't know.
Subliminally
I like
message
water
yourself.
types, so let's go with that.
Heck yes. Okay, so water is a defensive type.
All right.
We're going to talk about the other 18 and what sort of damage they should do to water.
Sure.
So previously we've tried to clarify what water, what a type is, but
Yeah.
water's pretty straightforward.
water?
What is water?
Presumably, are we talking about water itself or anything that lives in water as a water type?
Whatever argument you want to make, you can.
For fuck's sake.
It's those water people.
This one will be pretty
Futurama.
straightforward, and then immediately just those blue people from the Way of Water or whatever the movie was.
Yeah, water is the movie Avatar. Okay, so normal versus water. Normal being, I don't know, people.
That's what I would think, yeah.
I mean, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Super effective.
I was going to say, just drink the water.
Just drink
Yeah,
it.
we argued
Super
that.
effective.
Yeah.
Just, what is it, a fish? Eat that shit.
We're top of the food chain, baby.
But what about a large body of water, like a tsunami or something? What's a normie going to do against that?
Engineering.
Oh,
A lot of tourists die at Bondi Beach as well, right? Or almost drown.
True.
So
Well, I feel like this is more of an argument for like how much damage water is doing to normals.
Yeah, we've flipped the argument.
Yeah, how much
Already.
damage is normals doing to? And I think, is it considered more or less damage that the sea levels are rising?
Well, that is more water to battle.
It is, well, yeah, more water, fewer ice types.
I'm going to shoot for immune on this one.
You reckon water's immune to normies?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it comes down to how you are. Because, like, if you're considering a fish a normal type, have you ever heard of, like, with chips? Like, that shit's super effective. Shark fin soup, baby. Like,
I'm not. Fucking hell. No, you're right. Super effective.
all right.
overfishing? Let's go.
Yeah, let's go with that.
yeah,
Super?
Super effective, yeah.
just drink the water.
Just
yeah.
Just drink the water as well.
Normies
Drink the
are
water,
super
eat the
effective.
fish.
Yeah.
Okay, fire against water.
Resist or immune.
Not very effective. I wouldn't call it immune because, like, enough fire can, like,
Can turn it into.
Yeah.
steam.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay.
Yeah, not very.
So Pokemon got that correct.
They did.
Yeah.
Water versus water. It's a solid argument for not very effective.
I'd say immune. Because you add water to water, you get more water.
Yeah. I do like that, actually.
I like
Every
that too.
water type has water absorb.
Exactly.
Water type has water absorb.
I vibe that, yeah.
So immune.
Yeah, I like immune, but I want to hear your opinion on this, Joel.
No, I was just thinking not very, because historically Pokemon on like the same type, they never really do immune.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
But I do like the argument for immune.
yeah.
Okay.
Because water plus water
Surely
is just water.
we're not halfway through the third one of these finally going to involve any kind of Pokemon logic into how we are doing this. It has played into nothing of what we've done so far. Surely we're not going to start now.
Hey, whatever. Okay, electric versus water.
I'm going to come in here for an argument for immune. Because pure water, H2O, does not actually conduct electricity.
You are correct.
It's only when it's got like minerals and stuff in
Yeah.
it. That's the
Yeah.
conductor of the electricity.
That is true. Yeah.
Or it's ionized in some way.
Yeah.
But getting deionized water is extremely difficult.
Is how much of these water Pokemon are deionized. Like, distilled water Pokemon.
Like you could make the argument that Palafin Hero is like Homelander, so he can just make himself deionized or whatever.
Okay, so maybe that's an ability for specific Pokemon.
Deionized?
Yeah, deionized.
We're just making another type at this point.
I do love Immune for being deionized, but I want to push it to not very. That's
Okay.
my...
Yeah, let's go with that.
I'll cop that.
Yeah.
Nah, I disagree. I still think super effective. Well, I'm
you-
obviously in the minority, so it doesn't matter. But
it's 3-1 here.
I'd say not very effective or immune. One of the two.
Nice. Okay. Grass attacking water. Grass does very famously survive by being watered.
Yeah.
But as someone who has houseplants, you can also kill grass very easily with slightly too much water.
Yeah.
Or just water from the wrong tap. Like,
Get a bad pH
that
batch
shit
of
is
water.
super effective.
But this is grass doing damage to water types.
Yeah, okay. Well, the grass just drinks the water.
yes.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, I think it's
Plants do good work against the water table, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like if deforestation contributes to flooding.
Yeah, and you
Yes.
get the bacteria and all those other plants in water in an enclosed system that will just take over it.
Yeah.
You don't clean it regularly.
Yeah.
Or is it a symbiotic relationship and it's neutral?
Come on, man. What's all this thinking about a child's game?
so in depth.
I'm going super effective. Just drink the water, brackets through your roots.
Okay. Super?
Yeah.
Super.
Super?
Yeah, super.
Super. Lock it in. Okay. Ice versus water. So ice, if we're thinking oceans, ice never turns water into ice.
Yeah,
Doesn't
correct.
never turn salty water into ice.
Yes.
But these distilled water Pokemon, they all they get turned into ice.
You're right. These distilled water Pokemon will turn into ice. Neutral is my hot take.
Neutral. I was going to go
With no
immune.
explanation.
I mean, it depends. Are we still saying that fish are ice types? Fish are water types? Or?
If you want to say that, you can.
God. I think like just water would be immune to ice because unless you've got some really fucking cold ice, in which case it can turn some of the other water into ice. I want to say not very effective.
Okay, so not very.
I'd say not very effective or immune.
Or
Yeah.
immune. Okay, 0.5 or 0.
Yeah, I want to say immune because you add ice to water and you get more water again. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Ice absorb, new ability.
Immune. Okay, fighting versus water.
Fighting? What's a fighting? Like,
It's just a normal type wearing a gi.
yeah, that's what I imagine.
So the only thing I'm thinking of right now is those things they do in China where they put like the bamboo mats across the water and then people run across really fast doing absolutely nothing to the water.
Yeah.
So immune.
See, I'm thinking of like the people who like train their bodies by like punching the water or like slapping a bowl of water.
They usually punch sand. I don't know what movies you're watching.
Oh, they wash the rice, right, for the forearms? That's
Yeah.
the training method, yeah.
But is it the rice or the water?
I'm willing to say not very effective or even immune.
Okay, so 0 or 0.5?
Yeah, I would have gone with immune.
0.
I was going to say not very.
I'm leaning towards immune.
All right.
Water is becoming a very defensive type.
I mean, what's different?
Okay, poison versus water. Super is my immediate thought.
Ooh. Does water stop being water just because it contains contaminants?
Well, no, it's still water, but it's
Well, then-
shitty water.
Who gives a shit?
I'd argue it turns to poison, right?
Yeah.
So then, yeah, it should be super effective.
I would have gone with super as well.
Cool. I'll take that one.
Cool. 3-1 against Mark. Okay, so ground attacking water. I don't
If you
have.
add enough ground, there's less water.
I'm immediately thinking of the famous comic where Groudon is yelling at Kyogre to come at me, bro.
Of course.
He's just on a little island. in the middle
Little
of the
tiny
ocean.
island.
Yeah.
Shut up, you fucking gecko.
Or that meme of the dude in the sandcastle. It's like the ocean. It's Poseidon quivers before him.
Fuck off.
So I want to say not very of ground attacking water.
I think it's super effective or neutral.
Super effective or neutral.
I think add land and you get less water.
Yep, I mean, that's how Singapore exists.
Yeah.
Singapore's a ground type.
Confirmed.
Yeah. No, I'm fuck it, super effective.
I mean, you've swayed me on that argument.
Thank you.
So 2 supers.
I would have said not very because like that comic with
Yeah, exactly. I also would say not very.
What are you
Okay,
gonna do?
so that is a net average of neutral.
Neutral.
All right.
Flying versus water. I
Well,
think
you've seen all those David Attenborough videos of like those birds swooping into
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fish.
kingfishers
When's the
and
last time you
albatross.
ever saw a fish eat a bird?
I haven't seen one. But
I
I'm sure
mean-
there are.
Okay, I have seen footage of SeaWorld orca hunting like water birds in their tanks.
I was going to say, orcas are like psychopaths. They eat anything.
Orcas will hunt fucking anything. I still don't know if
Except
this is
humans.
true. I still don't know if this is true because I read it on the internet, but apparently they hunt moose.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in Canada, yeah.
Natural predator of the moose is an orca.
Because apparently the moose dive down to like get the aquatic plants.
Yeah. People reckon that the only reason no person has ever been killed in wild by an orca is because they see us and they go, not enough meat.
They're smart enough to realize that we're not worth it.
Yeah.
Damn.
So flying against water, I mean, I think neutral.
I mean, bird drinks water, bird eats fish. For the same reason I said normal, super effective.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have gone with the super effective. Like the water can't fight back, barring the orca example.
But they are psychopath type.
Yeah. Yeah, by that logic, I think I have to agree. Super.
Super? Okay, let's lock it in. Okay, psychic versus water. Water bending's the only thing that comes to my mind immediately.
Yeah. I was going to say immune because we kind of define psychic types as either mediums or neurodivergent people. And neither of those are doing jack shit to water.
All right.
Yeah, they just sit in water and they
They
become
just-
healthier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go with immune then as well.
2 immunes.
I mean, you could argue, right? Olympic swimmers would be neurodivergent and they conquer the water.
No, they become one with the water.
They get through it
True,
very
the
fast.
water just gets bigger immune.
Yeah, when Olympic swimmers enter the pool, there's slightly more pool.
Yeah, exactly.
Olympic pools have swimmers absorb.
Swimmers absorb. Okay, bug versus water. I think this, for me, it's kind of like the flying argument
Yeah, I think
a
so as
little
well.
bit.
Also, the poison argument because bugs can like get into water and turn it to
Yeah, I'm not.
a stagnant fucking mosquito hive.
Yeah, exactly.
right?
A lot of insects like lay eggs in water. So.
Yeah.
And I'm not drinking water that is filled with mosquitoes or flies.
No, yeah.
So super,
Super effective.
Super for
Super,
sure.
yeah.
super's all the way around. Okay, rock versus water. Skipping stones.
Yeah, but
Water's
then
not-
they
water's
sink.
Yeah, then they sink.
Yeah. Not mine.
You're just making it to the other side.
Hits ground.
Yeah, I mean, when we eventually do rock, I'm going to definitely argue that water is super effective against rock.
Yeah, I feel like rock is at its strongest. It's neutral. So
Yeah,
not
I feel like
very-
maybe you could use the argument that you use with ground about like put it in the water to kind of replace it, but I'm going to go not very effective.
Okay, not very.
Yeah, I'd say neutral because it shapes the flow of water, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
pretty
Yeah, I'll go neutral from that as well.
Neutral.
I'll swap back to neutral. I think
Neutral.
that's
Okay, ghost versus water.
immune. What the fuck are they going to do? Oh, I'm haunting this pond. Fuck off.
Body of water. Yeah.
I mean, isn't that the whole thing about like sailors go crazy at sea? So like
But sailors are normal types in a boat.
until they're dead at sea.
In which case they're ghost types, not doing anything to the water. Immune.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so Mark's locked in a very solid argument for immune.
Yeah, I'd have to go with that as well. Makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, logically. Yeah.
Logically immune?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the Flying
Amazing.
Dutchman's just there. It doesn't do anything.
Famously, ghosts can't even drink the water.
Exactly.
Immune.
Okay, dragon. Dragon so far, for the two other types we've done, does no damage to them.
Oh.
So dragon is shaping up really good in this list.
Well, you've got those water dragons that can run across the top of water. I don't know how we landed with the fighting types as to how relevant that is.
I'm the only thing I kind of am leaning towards like Spirited Away, like dragon is like the first one that comes to my mind. And it's rather just like symbiotic, like he like heals in the bathhouse and shit like that. So
Sure.
I'm kind of thinking not very, because he's not doing anything to water. He's like taking solace from water. And I think that in my mind it's like not very both ways.
Fair. I mean, I want to go more towards how we've been describing dragons as like, you know, the biological, like, you know, bearded dragons,
Yep.
water dragons, that kind of thing. And for that reason, I want to say super effective for the same reason. They eat fish, they drink water.
I like the argument.
Yeah, the flying, that kind of goes back to the flying argument. I thought I would say super effective for that reason. But yeah, I love Spirited Away, so I'd go with that too.
So locking in neutral.
Yeah, we'll go with neutral in that case.
So super, neutral.
I'm going to say neutral because, like, would you say an axolotl is kind of like a dragon?
I would, yeah.
Yeah, and they kind of just,
Yeah.
like, live in water.
Yeah.
Drinking it.
I'm going to say neutral.
They just chill, look at their stupid faces. I
The
also
ditto face.
the ditto. They really do. Okay. Dark versus water. To me, darkness just makes water more dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say that in that interaction,
It gets a moxie boost.
I'd say in that interaction, dark isn't necessarily doing any damage to water. But
Yeah.
their combination will be. It'll be a super effective interaction.
Yeah, dark water types really strong. Yeah, I mean, for the same reason I thought water should be immune to ghosts, I think water should be immune to dark. It achieves nothing.
I like that.
The one argument that could be made is the dark kills aquatic ecosystems.
Yes. Yep.
Specifically, algal blooms are very dangerous for the aquatic ecosystems because they block out the sun, so the aquatic plants can't photosynthesize, which causes the oxygen levels in the water to go down, causing the aquatic animals to essentially drown because they're not able to get oxygen.
He loves Groudon and Charizard. He's a weenie.
Not relevant. And so I feel like if you were to take large aquatic ecosystems and remove any sunlight, you are actually going to do a lot of damage to those ecosystems.
The moon, would you say, controls the tides, which is dark? Kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
I would say it's
I mean, the
super
moon is
effective there.
very much fairy type. There's a whole move around
Isn't
it.
that Sucker's girlfriend? It's normal time.
Yeah, so the moon is very much. I don't know. See,
It sounds like your argument is super.
Yeah, but
Yeah, you just like,
you know what? I'm gonna say yeah.
you
super.
flipped on yourself.
I would say super as well.
Yeah, I'm going to super.
Heck yes, lock in super. Okay, steel versus water.
Well, you can make a steel bucket.
You can make a steel
I played
bucket.
Minecraft.
Steel bucket, steel fishhook.
Modern ships are definitely made out of steel. And I mean, they get fucked up in rough seas, but
It's true.
like, I feel like it's a neutral interaction, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah, they both do damage to each other, right?
I'm happy with neutral.
It's a pretty even matchup, I think.
Yeah.
Lock in neutral. And our favorite type, the gays.
I don't know if we can say that without Chris here.
You're right.
If this is four straight guys doing this, this is a hate crime.
This is hate crime. Chris specifically stated that he wanted us to remember that the gays are included in the fairy type.
Yeah.
He was very offended when we forgot about it the first time.
Well, gays drink water, right?
Water,
And Ian Thorpe was a very good swimmer.
He was.
Look, I mean, I think going back to what Dan said about the moon, the moon pushes and pulls the water with great effect. I think fairy types are super effective against water.
I like that.
Yeah. I'd go with that as well. It's very convincing. Yeah.
Super.
Yeah.
Moonblast
Locked in.
Ian Thorpe just dominated the waters.
as well. Yeah.
Amazing. So we have locked in water type now. Water takes super effective from normal, half damage fire, immune to itself, half damage from electric, 2 times damage against grass, immune to ice, immune to fighting, 2 times damage from poison, neutral to ground, 2 times damage from flying, immune to psychic, 2 times damage from bug, neutral to rock, immune to ghost, neutral to dragon, weak to dark, neutral to steel, and weak to fairy.
Nice.
The cursed type chart continues. Okay, so we'll wrap up this episode now. Before we finish, Alister, thank you very much for joining us,
Yeah,
mate.
thank
We
you.
appreciate your stories from the last 10 years. Any final shout-outs that you want to make before you get stuck in the kitchen for 6 weeks?
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. This has been really fun. Hopefully I can, maybe come on again sometime after Worlds and we can talk about that.
You can tell us about your win.
Okay, so thank you everyone for being here today, and thank you for everyone at home for taking time to listen to us. We appreciate you and would love for you to join us again. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at the O2drop_VGC.
And just before we leave, Alister, all the best for your World Championships. Bring it home. I think on behalf of everyone here, it is absolutely coming home. So do well, kick the shit out of some foreigners.
Thank you so much. Hopefully between me and Kieran, one of us brings it home.
Fuck yes.
We'll do
someone
it.
hold them back and you start waiting.
Just jump in pairs.
It's Maltese at Worlds this year.
Multis IRL.
Maltese. Don't forget to drop us a follow and a review on your favourite listening app. And if you're from Perth, give us a shout out in person. Until next time. I was going to say, hopefully we can talk about
Oh, Jesus Christ.
that wrong one.
We're now converting to a Christian podcast.
Well, the reason I was able to win is because the Savior helped me through it. Yeah.
Shout out to Jesus Christ.
I forgot which button is the
DJ Scarlet.
DJ Scarlet.
Okay.
Well done.